I would basically just like to say a huge thank you to Stanley and Dan for agreeing to do this. We are really delighted to have them here. They'll be talking for about 60 minutes, and there'll be time for questions afterwards, if you have any. For anyone on Zoom, if you could pop the questions in the chat box, we will get through as many as we can. And for anyone in person, I'll come around with a microphone. So do think if you'd like to ask anything of these two brilliant people. So I'm now going to do the embarrassing waffle about who Stanley and Dan are, because I feel like they deserve it. So, as you probably already know, Stanley has worked with Radiohead since 1994, and he's just created so many incredible things for them. But alongside that, he's worked for Glastonbury Festival, creating all their official artwork, and has worked with Robert Macfarlane and Dan Richards, who we have here, on a fantastic best-selling book, Holloway. Stanley's also art directed the film The Bomb, produced by Schlosser and Smriti Keshari, as well as countless book covers and numerous other projects. So that's Stanley. And Dan is a writer and broadcaster. He is co-author of the brilliant bestseller Holloway with Rob and Stan. Yeah. And he's the author of the Beechwood Airship Interviews, which happens to be on sale in our bookshop, which will be open after the talk with the bar for a few minutes. Also the author of Climbing Days and Outpost. He's written for publications including The Guardian, Economist and Monocle. And Overnight, a book exploring the nocturnal world, is set to be published by Canongate in 2025. So that's something to look forward to next year. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Stanley and Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one.
Perfect. There you go.
Sorry, you're going to have to bear with me while I change some slides over and things as well. So, okay. Oh, there we go. So you talk while I do.
Thank you very much, Becky. That was nice. That was good.
Yeah.
We won't bang on about Robert Macfarlane. We're not going to do that.
We are a bit.
If anyone's got any questions about him at the end, we won't go to you.
Is he here?
Yeah. Hopefully he's not here. He doesn't need the help or the exposure. That's the bitter bit out of the way, I suppose. Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming. We're hopefully going to have a really interesting evening. That's kind of up to you. But I'm going to chair it as well as I can. Do you want to introduce the card system?
Yeah, because like I said, you probably won't learn anything. And also, kind of whenever I've done this sort of thing before, which isn't very often because I'm not very comfortable with it, I tend to sort of ramble on and digress in quite a bad way that gets worse and worse as time goes on until I end up sort of not knowing what I'm talking about. So, as we're here at St Bride's, which is all about print here, the Fleet Street, the historic kind of birthplace really of the print industry in this country. So to avoid too much useless talking, we've gone back to sport. So we've got a red card and a yellow card, and Dan's going to have one set there. So if I start talking about something that's a bit sort of pointless, but it's sort of like vaguely connected to printing.
Vaguely connected to printing.
Yellow card.
Yeah.
So bit of a warning. And if it's just like absolutely off topic, red card.
Pylons.
I start talking about pylons, for example.
Yeah.
Red card, right? And then we have to pull it back. Start talking about printing again. And we thought we've got to make it egalitarian. So we've got a set of the. These are from Sports Direct. If you're ever needing red and yellow cards, that's the place to go because Decathlon don't do them. So
give them to Sal?
Give them to Sal, and they can wander.
So
they can be
I'll give them to my mother because
cards.
You know she's in no way biased about this. For the sake of this, I mean, also I've got very few notes because we've got some slides that are going to be shown, and they'll kind of ground us as much as anybody or anything can. And we'll go through. Stanley's also got a stick which he might point to things with, and yeah, I've got the cards. The one note that I've got printing. In capitals with an exclamation mark.
So we should really.
That's the main note.
Focusing on
printing.
Yeah.
So if we're not talking enough about printing, the card system will come back to printing.
So we're relying on you.
We're relying on you.
And I'm relying on you a bit as well.
Okay, this is going to be great. I think that was the main thing that came across there. This is going to be a professional, great event.
Yeah.
Here we are, Curse of Fleet Street.
Yeah.
Can I start by asking you why this event is called that?
I had to think of the title really quickly, and I couldn't think of anything. And I thought because the time that I've spent most in this building was printing a picture, which is that picture, which you might have seen about the place because they seem to have been using it for pretty much everything. I don't know, mugs, tea towels, T-shirts, I don't know. It's all over the place because it's got Fleet Street in it and St Bride's Church there looking like a
This is a good opportunity to use that stick,
cake.
potentially.
Yeah, I could do it. Well, they can see it. It's over there.
Okay.
I don't need a stick.
This stick came all the way from home.
I know, it took me ages.
So yeah, so how did you come to create this?
Well,
what was this in aid of?
Well, it was in aid of St Bride's,
right?
You know, to raise money for this fine institution and building and everything that goes on in it, the library and the workshops and everything. So this was back, as you can see, it's 08, quite a long time ago, and I carved this out of two big bits of lino. The size of the lino was dictated by the largest platen. Is it platen? The squidgy ones. They have here.
It's this sort of technical detail that people have paid good money to come here tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
A big thing, like an Albion press, like a Columbian Albion, one of the two. I can't remember. It was 2008, man. And what we did, I worked with a printer who introduced me to this building called Seth Moore Toolboy, who might or might not be here tonight. And so we printed this edition here, and it's as you can see, it's printed in two halves. Each half was the largest size that we could print on the last remaining printing press in Fleet Street. You know, and you can imagine, like years ago, like the pubs were shaking with the presses thundering in this street. That every newspaper was printed in this street, and now you can't get a bloody photocopy done. So things have changed, you know. So we wanted to do a print, and we did it here, and so we made this twice the size by using a medieval method of print registration, which was two pins stuck up through the paper, and then you print one half upside down, and then you rotate the paper and print the other half the right way up. So
it's quite apocalyptic, isn't it? I mean, I'm just.
Oh yeah, well that was my thing at the time, I think.
Okay.
So,
and was this done around the same time as the Eraser?
a bit after.
Right. Okay.
A couple of years after.
So you still had the kind of apocalypse, which is since, as people who know Stanley's work is now, he's got that out of his system.
Yeah.
But
I'm all right.
he's all right now. He's fine. Shall we move on to the next thing?
Yeah, all right.
Because yeah, you're in. Yeah.
Ah.
Right. Oh no,
Look,
it's Robert Macfarlane.
That's Robert Macfarlane.
Okay. Why
is
this?
he here? Is he? Because if he is, he's going to fucking kill us. No,
he does have that power.
Yeah.
No, so why is this here? What's going on?
Well, because I wanted to talk about a very print-related project that we did with Robert Macfarlane. There he is, out thinking, what am I going to write my next book about?
Yeah.
But yeah, and there we are.
Well,
so
I mean, steady on. There you are. I took the picture, so I am there. And this is in Dorset. This is the Holloway.
This is a discursive method of getting to a very print-related issue.
Jolly printy.
And so Robert had written this book, and then Dan got in touch with him, and then I got in touch with him as well, and then we decided to go to Dorset to find the Holloway that Robert had written about very beautifully in his pellucid prose in the book The Wild Places, which was a Holloway. He went there with the now sadly deceased writer Roger Deakin, and I was really fascinated by this. So we got on our bikes and we cycled
Well, you told me in the early days of this, you told me that you'd read about the Holloways in the wild places, and the kind of the form of it, the shape of it, the way you imagined it, it kind of came to sort of haunt you slightly. You became quite obsessed with it.
Well, I think when I was a kid, like we used to go on holiday and camp in this big garden where my uncle was the gardener for a house that was a school for naughty children, and so we in the summer when the naughty children weren't there, we used to camp in the garden and we'd drive through the Surrey hills, which are all chalk and they're all Holloways, and they'd sort of like really stuck in my head, like as things do when you're a kid, and I hadn't really thought about it until I read Robert's book, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go there.
Yeah.
And so we did.
Well, so the Beechwood book, which is kind of here, I've got both the Beechwood book and the Holloway book, but this book was interviews with people, and I interviewed you, and I interviewed Robert, and then it all kind of came together, and we ended up making this.
That's how it all happened.
That's how it all happened. We ended up making this slim but very good value volume about Holloways, and we're going to talk a bit about that now because originally that was a letterpressed book.
That's the actual Holloway. I think that we cycled to, and it was top fun really in its way.
It was ripping, wasn't it? In a slightly Enid Blyton kind of way.
It was all really, really cool until we went to the pub, and then there was a massive thunderstorm that went on.
There was, and do you remember that pub that was also run by that Confederate guy?
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
And he had a Humvee.
Yeah, luckily
and he had a Humvee in rural Dorset, which is a way to really mark yourself out by wearing a kind of Confederate flag as a bandana and driving a Humvee near Beaminster.
So we woke up after this horrible rainstorm and everything, and we thought, when we went to the coast, we went to Golden Cap. We were sitting there in the sun of the next day, birds tweeting, everything. It was like a Enid Blyton.
It was. But, and also my mother, we had some gin, didn't we? We had some, was it Damson gin? Damson gin. We had some Damson gin. Yeah. Which is good breakfast. We thought
we'd make a book out of our experiences somewhere or another, and I thought, yeah, let's really make a book. Let's buy the paper. Let's buy an ingot of lead and melt it down, and cast the type. Let's do it properly. Let's make a book right from scratch. Because now most people obviously not. Present company excluded. People think printing is we press a button and it comes out. But so our friend Seth Moore Tallboy, who his face there has been it's been blurred to preserve his.
So we got a close up of his.
Got a close up. There he is.
There we are.
Yeah. So.
And he's here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You'll know him because he looks like Jeremy Corbyn, who's had a terrible printing accident.
Anyway.
Okay, no, here we are.
Yeah, so I these two wrote some words, and I drew some pictures, and
which I think we can all agree is the easier part.
It is the easier part
of the deal, in many ways. Yeah,
I didn't really have to think about it.
No.
So I drew all these pictures for a while, and because Seth Moore Tallboy knows quite a lot about how these things are done, then we were also able to turn this into. So that's the etched version. It's etched magnesium, I think. I don't know how it's done. It's some kind of alchemy or magic or something. I don't know. But and that's what you use. That's the printing.
It's the wonder of printing, isn't it? Really, that's how that happens.
Why we're here.
Why we're here.
The wonder of printing.
The wonder of printing.
Yeah. So
sponsors of this evening.
Sponsors of yeah. So that's what, and then this. I've just included this slide because this is the kind of information you have to read to input type into. I'm probably preaching to converted a little bit here, but to make lead type, you have this enormous keyboard, which has a button, a little key for everything. So it's got a key for the capital letters and the small letters and all the punctuation, everything. There's no shift key. And you basically, you know those kind of player piano things that have a roll of paper with holes in? That's what you're making. So you're punching these keys to make holes in a roll of paper. And you don't know what you've just done. So if you forget, or someone phones you, or someone says something to you and you can't remember, you're like, where was I? You've got no way of telling. So you have to start again, just where you think you lost your thread. And then the roll of paper with holes in is taken over to another machine and put on that. And then it's basically, the player piano comes in, and it tells little brass letters, which are the cast letters, and they have molten lead squirted into them. So we had cauldrons of molten lead. It was really exciting.
It was great.
Cauldrons of molten lead.
I can't remember, it was a while ago. Did you do that? Did you program in the text? Personally?
No.
No. We got some help, didn't we?
We got Seth Moore-Torwart.
Yeah.
And his friend David, who's got a workshop across the way.
Yeah, so this was done in Oxford.
Yeah.
Wasn't done here.
No.
Do we have we've got another picture of that kind of process, haven't we?
Oh, look. So,
there we go.
So they're
seamless.
There's all the words in the world, all made of them. That's... If you
I don't think we can describe Holloway as having all the words in the world of it. It's about 45 pages.
It's not a lot of words. So all of the words are made of those. Look at that. It's like a destroyed city or something, isn't it? So yeah, it's brilliant. So each one is made of a tiny bit of lead.
And I just remember, so to some degree when we were doing this, because Robert is busy and a grown-up, and Mr Tallboy was busy with other things, and we spent quite a lot of time in the pub coming up with ideas, and one of the things that we came up with was the number, because it came out as a limited edition letterpress book, and it was 277 in that edition, and it retailed for £27.70. Which is quite a lot back in 2012. Yeah. You couldn't get away with that now. No. And that's because we started 277 metres above sea level.
Yeah, so that's part of it.
That's pub maths.
Stupid numerology, yes, pub maths.
Probably that's not printing, is it? That's pub maths.
So you're recording yourself?
I'm just kind of in general, yeah.
It's good to know.
Okay.
Good to know that you can do it.
So I'm just going to move it on to the next slide.
Next slide. Yes, quickly.
Destroyed Cities 2. That's the finished
bit. That's it. That's the book that we made. Look at it, doesn't look worth £27.
It does, it totally does. And the thing about it was we sold them all, didn't we? Yeah. Which came as a surprise.
It's amazing, because that's why we only did 277, because there's nothing more depressing.
We literally had a conversation, does anyone care about sunken roads in Dorset?
Yeah, we just slept in the ditch. Why would anyone care?
Yeah, which isn't the blurb on the back, but it came quite close to being.
Who cared? Look who cared. Faber and Faber, or Faber and fucking Faber, as Stuart Lee has it.
Well,
FFF. I tried to get them to put an imprint up, but they were not interested.
Okay. Well, so Lee's moved to Orion, hasn't he?
The more fancy version.
Yeah.
Which is why...
A lovely editor called Walter Donoghue came along in his way, and that exists in the world. But that was kind of the first collaboration, and that is a letterpress kind of book. This isn't letterpress, this is the general edition. Yeah. Which is exciting. But then you kept drawing them.
I got a bit obsessed, like really kind of, like addiction is a strong word. But I think I looked it up one time, what addiction actually is. And I thought about my Holloway drawing thing, and it pretty much ticked every box for the older addiction.
An addiction. Do you know how many of something you need to have a collection?
God, no.
3.
What?
Yeah, technically, if you've got 3 of anything, you've got a collection of things.
Jeez.
Yeah. Sorry, again. Right, next one.
Fact.
Wow, okay. Some people might find that interesting. Maybe they could come up here and talk about it.
So the whole... and then look, the Holloway, so I carried on drawing them, and look, there's a giant version of it with young Dan.
What a great guy. Actually doing the work, putting it up on the wall. What were you doing? Taking the
drill.
That's me with the drill.
Holding
Look how
a drill.
I am. Yeah. Back in the day.
So and this to this day is in up on the wall in Faber's new offices that I haven't even been to.
They're Hatton Garden.
They've been very quiet with me lately.
I'm sorry about that. But you've got a number of books with Thames and Hudson that are on sale after this event. Pages of Hackney. The inevitable sledging has started.
So so look at that, it's massive.
Yeah,
and
so
then
we did that. That's
look,
not printed though, is it?
So I'm still drawing them. This is the sad truth. Years later, you know, almost 50 years later.
This is starting to feel more like an intervention than a talk about printing.
Yeah. Please pull me out, can I?
Yeah. So you're still drawing them, and eventually these might be a book, maybe?
Yeah. But that's, you know, it might not as well. So
great.
Yeah, I know you're used to all your people from the book launches, aren't you?
Well, I do chairing for all sorts of things. I mean,
anyway,
professional.
So that one is called Hanging Hill, which is a place.
It looks quite doomy.
It's near Bath.
Is it?
If you go to the racecourse and walk down towards kind of Wick area, that's down there. It's an old Roman road.
Oh, is it?
Funny enough, yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
That's nice.
That's nice, but not as nice as this. Oh my God, Dolly. So this is brilliant, isn't it? Great. You start drawing trees in the ditch with Robert Macfarlane, and you end up with Dolly, and oh my God, look, who is that actually? I can't.
That's Joe Wiley.
It is Joe Wiley. I think it's a lot on the phone, which I can't know.
Yeah.
But look at them, aren't they great?
So would you describe this as a turning point in your career?
Sort of. But so if anyone here wants to remember Dolly Parton, I've got a load of books. Me and Robert made a load of books with his book Underland, which has got this on. Anyway, so I want to sort of give these out to everybody. They sent me a huge box of them, and I just
got to that stage of the event where Stanley's literally buying people off
please
with some books.
Is what I'm saying.
If you open them, there are more inside, so if you pass them all around.
Each one's got sort of 3 in, so can I pass them?
So the TripAdvisor rating for this event has just gone up from, I'd say, a 3-star to maybe a 4-star. Like, yeah, he gave me books.
Yeah, free. So if you want to sort of pass them all around. And
this is like...
I could have brought more, but I didn't. So I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so isn't that amazing?
Should I use the stick?
Wasn't there. This photo. Use the stick. You're right. Yeah. So this photo of Dolly there. I wasn't there. This is just off the telly, I think.
It's exciting though, isn't it?
It's exciting, you know.
Do you want to, because, you know, she's standing in front of the Holloway, there looks to be a lovely sunrise at the end.
Yeah.
But that's not actually the case, is it?
No, that picture is, when you were an artist or try to be one, you try to make pictures that people will like, and this is a picture that I made that I actually personally do not like, but it's the most popular picture I've ever made, and people love it, and so Glastonbury used it because they thought it was hopeful,
sunny and positive.
Sunny and positive.
Yeah.
But what it is actually a picture of is basically it's kind of ground zero, and you're looking down Holloway at the detonation of a nuclear bomb, and you have seconds to live at this point. So it's a chirpy picture, and yeah, it's basically imminent death is what it's about.
And it's on the front of Robert Macfarlane's Underland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he aware what the picture was?
He totally was, because his book begins and ends talking about nuclear
apocalypse. Yeah.
So he did know, and also he's obviously got an eye for a popular picture.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know.
Good.
Got to sell the books, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to shift some units.
People picking them up, half the journey, isn't it? Really?
Right. And Pages of Hackney do have a shop after the event as well.
So if you want to go and buy Underland by Robert Macfarlane,
we don't have it.
We haven't got it here, but you can get it pretty much anywhere.
I think we need to. Yeah, if you
should move on.
Could you rein that in?
Should we move on?
So after Dolly, inevitable.
It's a good book.
Inevitable Schadenfreude. Now we're going.
Do you see that way I segued into Glastonbury from? That was great.
That was good. That was professional.
We were talking about Holloway's, and how did we get here? But anyway, so this is the first one I did, and look, back in 2002.
Do you think, I mean, in retrospect, how does this rate?
This was a high point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but look at this.
Now.
Hippie rubbish.
Yeah.
So this is more recent. But,
okay. It's what they want, though, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, really. I mean,
what happens with Glastonbury? Do you kind of like every year just do something that you want?
Yeah.
Or do you get notes?
Well, no. I sort of do something that I think might be good because it was always quite nice for me because I got a bit of a name for being a bit of a depressing person.
Okay.
You know, doom-laden, Radiohead as well. You know.
I suppose.
Yeah.
You say
the whole nuclear, we're all going to die thing. You know, so with Glastonbury, I kind of tried to be a bit more upbeat.
Right.
So hence, kind of, look.
Although there does seem to be a massive explosion happening behind Glastonbury Tour.
That's the sun.
That's the sun. Okay. Technically, a massive nuclear explosion.
It is technically. Yeah. So there it is.
So is that the new one, or is that last year?
No, well, last year. Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
I can't show you this year's because it's a secret.
Right. Okay.
It's Glastonbury, official Secrets Act.
Sure. Absolutely.
I've got it on my phone though.
Hacked to death by druids.
So this is printed. You see, so that's lino cut. A lot of lino cuts there.
Okay, printing.
Yeah. So printing. See, a lot of printing. So, for example, and this isn't this one, but an earlier one. This is I can't remember 2017 or something. Big lino cut.
Lovely.
Printed on a proofing press in the Oxford workshop of Sefmore Toolboy, who may or may not be here tonight.
Mm. And
you remember him? He's a blurry guy made out of circles.
Blurry guy out of circles. When you started lino cutting, why did you start lino cutting? What was it that sort of started? Because lino cutting is obviously a very different process from, type and letterpress, things like that.
Well, I wanted to do, I think it was, oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to make medieval-looking pictures because I had this book of the Nuremberg Chronicle, and I wanted to make pictures that were like that of sort of scenes of flooding. So I tried to learn how to do gilding and all of those things. There's various sorts of gilding. They're all really complicated and they all involve, crucially, a lot of patience and calm application of skill.
Right.
And those things, I'm not, it's not me really, the calm application of skill. Patient.
I do remember there was a Radiohead album and we had a chat about it and you said, I'm just going to paint portraits like Anselm Kiefer.
Yeah, right. That really.
And you may not have seen that Radiohead album with the portraits by Anselm Kiefer because you came back and went, it turns out...
No, I can't paint.
I can't paint. Like Anselm Kiefer or otherwise. So when you started with the idea of the floods and the chronicles, were you thinking... I mean, were you good at it straight away, or did it take a lot of practice?
The lino cut?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not very difficult.
Right. Okay. Great.
No, it's fine. It's not compared to like illuminated manuscripts, which they're very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, lino cutting is kind of cool. I mean, it's pretty easy. You have a chisel and a bit of lino. It's pretty brutal.
Do you get your lino from particular places, or just?
I buy my lino from Lawrence's of Hove.
Oh right.
And since I moved to Brighton, it's just down the road.
Oh great.
Yeah, it's great.
Is that why you've done so much?
That's what that one ended up looking like. So
that's cool.
That's a lino cut. So I'm a big cheat with the old printing. So I do a print with Sefmore Toolboy in Oxford, and then I have the print photographed and then digitally, and then I turn it into a. Well, that's all Photoshop. That is, so, including the fake gold is supposed to.
Well, that's disappointing, isn't it?
It is.
That's a bit
real cheap.
I mean, you come here to St Bride Foundation, and then you just
digital.
Yeah. You get that out, and how far are we in? 36 minutes. He started talking about Photoshop.
Jesus. I'm going to have to really drag this out a bit more.
Well, I know. I mean, I'm not asking you to justify yourself, but
what's next? Oh my God! Oh look, there we are. That's not a segue, is it? That's more of a jump cut.
So that's where you came in. That's like the first album you did.
Back in 1994.
What is that?
What is it?
As in, it's a picture. What is
nothing
it?
to do with printing.
Fine. I've always just
let's
wondered what
move
it was.
straight on.
Are we moving
look,
on?
here's the last one. So
Okay.
that's 30 years just gone, just like that. So
Who gave you the clicker? Did we discuss
I've
this?
got the clicker. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you want it?
No, it's fine. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a bit quick. So this is the.
So,
So
what is that? Okay,
That
fine.
it's a dummy that they do the tests for when you're learning how to resuscitate
CPR
someone
stuff.
who's dead.
Right.
Bring them back to life.
Oh, okay.
So it's got little metal nipples that you put the things on, and presumably that makes it sort of jump. And I don't know. I mean, it was just I was wandering around a hospital with a video camera. It's not right, is it?
In 1994?
Yeah.
Is that how that all came about?
Yeah.
How did you get in?
I think Colin, the bassist, knew someone who worked in the hospital.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's really bad, isn't it?
That's awful.
I didn't film anyone who was alive.
So 38 minutes. The first real revelation of the evening.
Sounded really bad.
Yeah. Okay, no dead people.
So, but anyway,
This one, what's this? This looks safer.
so this is actually kind of a print.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to print.
This is a moon-shaped pool artwork.
Yeah.
How did you make this?
So this was I had a really bad time. I had this great idea, and I took loads of equipment down to the south of France to carry out my great idea. But it turned out to be a really bad idea.
It was a Siam Kiefer idea.
No. This was another one.
Oh, great.
I'm terrible with the ideas, and but then after about 3 weeks or something, I finally realised get rid of the colour,
Right.
just black and white, and it's going to be better. So and this was made by with signwriting enamels on water and these big ponds that I made, and then you've kind of photographed the weather, because the weather was very extreme. We had these sort of strong wind down in autumn down in the bottom of France there, and so the wind would blow the enamel about on the ponds of water, and then we basically, because the canvases were quite big, it was me and Tom kind of going okay, 3, 2, 1 now, and we then put a huge canvas down on this pond and capture it. So taking a photograph of the weather in a way, and then you sort of.
So it's kind of luck as to what you get in that way.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
It's beautiful. I mean, I know that you've said before that you want each album artwork to be different, and you want it to look like someone else has done it. You don't want a style.
No, which is I sort of succeeded to an extent.
Yeah, I think it's very, very beautiful. Okay, actually, I've got the clicker.
You've got
You said
the clicker,
filling
yeah.
for time, but no. Oh, here's another.
Oh, look, and that's the second one. Okay. So yeah, that's not a print either. That was just this is kind of a narrative link to what comes after it. Because, this is really, really, really bad.
I love the way that you put this together and you're surprised in the order it's appearing.
Well, yeah, I forget. I've got a bad memory. This is like a really bad Photoshop attempt at making digitally created type look like it's been printed. So I've included this to be like my first attempt to make stuff look like it being letterpress printed.
Because had you
at the
always
time,
been interested?
I didn't
in
know
letterpress?
anyone who did printing then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just.
You love the look of it.
I think because I was really excited by Photoshop and everything, and the digital revolution and the internet and everything like that. But by about the year 2000, I was really, really bored of the internet and digital stuff and everything, because it was really boring already by then. And now, oh my God.
Have you been on the internet recently?
Have you seen the internet? It's really dull. Anyway, so I was trying to make stuff that looked a bit like it had been printed.
Okay.
That's all that picture is there for.
And then...
Oh, bit of lino.
Yeah.
This is old lino. Look, brown lino from the olden days. Now it's all grey. Don't know why.
Okay. Has it changed the quality of what you do in terms of, is it different to work with?
Great. Yeah, it's a bit softer.
Is it now?
Yeah, this brown liner is very hard.
Ah, so this is the eraser.
Yeah.
This would be around 2006. Okay.
Ages ago, right?
Yeah, a while. And this was made.
Yeah, there it's been printed.
That's Bristol. Is that right?
Yeah. So I kind of did this thing called London Views. Sorry, is this really boring? I don't know. Okay.
No, someone immediately there. No.
Just
Great.
checking.
Thank you.
Because for me, it's quite boring because it was.
It's just being. I think the chairing has allowed it to flourish in a beautiful way, and people are enjoying that.
I'm just looking at.
Okay. You're just looking at that card. So that's quite.
No one's shown the card yet.
No. Have the cards gone round? Maybe they've been waving them like everything. We just haven't noticed.
You're right.
This is quite long. You were talking about the Fleet Street Apocalypse as being a long print.
Yeah, it was a long print.
This looks longer.
Yeah, no, that is it. That Fleet Street was quite big.
Yeah.
But this was I can't remember how big, but it was quite long, and I didn't really think about it. So it's a lesson. So if we are going to teach, if there's going to be some learning, don't make really long prints. It's a really, really bad idea.
I will remind, can everyone remember that, what's just been said? Because in about 2 slides' time, we're going to have some sort of chat about learning lessons.
Oh, okay.
Because you did this, and you said that the man who helped you print this...
He said never, ever. Never do that sort of thing
again.
Martin Grimmer of Spike Island.
What's this?
Well, this is...
What's that?
Yeah. So
I've got the clicker now.
So if
things are going to change.
He's So anyway, so you can see this. This is a print that's that wall's got a bit of a curve to it, hasn't it? Right. So because I made the print and it got a bit long, this is Shepard Fairey, the guy who does Obey prints and that sort of thing. This is his gallery in LA. And he sent me the floor plans and everything, so there's no excuse at all for me making a print that was longer than any of the walls in his gallery. So fortunately, we're in the City of the Angels of Los Angeles, and
anything is possible.
Anything is possible. So we got a set designer to build us a curved wall. So, but I couldn't get any glass or anything, so I had to hold it up with magnets to the wall.
Okay.
It was really huge.
How long did that take to do? That seems like quite a job of work.
I don't know. I don't know. Some months, maybe.
And it's LA being destroyed
by fire and flood in a quasi-medieval style. Yeah. If any city, I will do pretty much any city. Really.
And your rates are quite reasonable.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a city you don't like, I know that my mother hates the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
It's not a city. Yeah. But you don't like it, do you? Yeah. No. She often says she wishes the Cotswolds were destroyed.
The Chilterns, on the other hand, very nice.
Chiltern's lovely, yeah. Right. Let's go back. Sorry, we were going to talk about this. Talk about this.
Discuss, you know?
Yes, discuss. Because this is the first...
This is another type of printing, so we're still in the world of printing.
Can we get a whoop?
Yeah.
Thank you, yes. More printing. That's pathetic, wasn't it? It's not my fault.
Anyway, so this is etching. And etching I learned about by getting a book from the library and reading it. And it was quite basic, but it was enough. And I learned that there are basically 2 sorts of etching. One is steel, with steel and bad acid. Bad acid.
Yeah.
You need sort of extraction hoods and the gloves.
Like hydrochloric acid or worse?
I don't know, yeah, bad acid. Sort of acid you dissolve the corpses of your victims.
How did I knew that would be the example. I'm sure they use acid for all sorts of things.
Yeah. But this is another sort of acid for copper.
Right.
Ferric chloride, I think it is.
Okay.
And it's sort of all right.
So this is a copper plate.
Don't put your fingers in your mouth after you've been messing with it, because it's a bit stingy.
Did you do that?
I did do that. but so me and, again, Stephen Tallboy learned how to do this by trial and error. And so that's the sort of print you get from what you saw.
And this is kind of in Rainbow's era?
It is, yeah. Yeah, because I got a bit distracted with what I was supposed to be doing, really.
Yeah, there was a whole thing, wasn't there, about parking lots in suburbia?
Yeah.
Which could have been in Rainbows.
Yeah.
And
so I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Radiohead record In Rainbows. It's a very organic, fluid, sensual, sexy record. And
it's the sexy record that Radiohead people did not know they wanted, but they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So, and my idea for it was I was going to do pictures of big parking lots and supermarkets and housing estates and stuff. Didn't really fit, so I did some other stuff like that instead.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's quite upbeat, but still explosive and slightly apocalyptic. So you're having your cake and eating it in some ways. And then you did that afterwards. This is Atoms for Peace.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were...
More printing.
See, printing, lino.
Hasn't even got ink on it yet.
Looks like a massive explosion. Yeah. We'll move on. There it is. More massive explosions.
That's that's a medieval disaster with flaming meteorites.
Okay, we've lost one. And it's a jigsaw.
Merchandise.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is how printing can become profitable.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay, but also maybe you're bringing in the younger audience there because you know, jigsaw, exciting, apocalypse. Get them while they're young into that. And here we have basically where we are. More apocalypse.
Look, back to London.
Lovely. Full circle.
Which keeps changing. So I'd have to do, basically at the moment, I'd have to do a new liner cut every couple of years.
That's the walkie-talkie, isn't it?
Yeah, gave me a lot of pleasure to...
You'd not taken with it?
Not really, no.
Right, no. Okay. Some printing.
Oh yeah.
So this is new stuff.
Yeah, this is new. This is a place called Edem, which is the St Brides of Paris, I think, really. It's a print workshop that was set up in about 1850 or a bit later. And that picture on... stick. So this picture here, you can see these round things, and they were held the belts that drove the presses, and it was all powered by steam. So in the basement underneath, they've still got all of the furnaces where they just shovel in loads and loads of coal to power these things. And at its height, they had about 70 people working in these presses, and it would have been really, really loud. And upstairs, here is where the kind of draftsmen were, the people doing the artwork were. And now it's got a big table on it with me doing the biggest liner cut I've ever done. I can't remember exactly how big it is, but you can see it's a massive.
How big's that brush scale?
It's about the size of that table. So the whole.
And this is for the smile, or this is for you?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. It's for something. Because you have been doing this recently.
Oh, yeah. Look, and that's also done at this place called Eden, and this is lithography, which is another kind of printing, which I've not done before.
There we are.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, great.
So lithography, amazing. And you have a big stone, like it's great, big flat stones that only come from a particular quarry in Bavaria, where they have limestone that has no little bits in it. I think it's super, super smooth, and you draw on the stone with grease, basically, some kind of black grease, and it can be with a stick or a brush, or there's all sorts of greasiness that you can do, and it's kind of magic because you have to leave it over. You do that, and then you leave it overnight, and you have to go away, leave it, don't look at it, and then
Don't fiddle.
Don't fiddle with it. And then in the morning, some of the French people, they come in and they paint it over with gum arabic, which is one of those mysterious things that you get in extremely specialist art shops. It's lumps of stuff that you then melt down, and then they paint that over that. I don't know what happens next, but basically they wash it all off, and your picture's gone. And you spent ages doing it, and you're like, what the fuck have you just done? You just
but in French.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, buff. But so they, and then they just all the pictures gone, and then like, oh, yeah, don't worry.
Where are they from?
Don't worry. From Spain now.
Wow.
I don't know where they are. Anyway, they're like, don't worry. So, and then the stone goes through this huge press, which we might have a picture of.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Come on, Mr. Click.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, see a big
Like the
printing press like that.
From Word.
And somehow,
Is that
miraculously, the picture comes back with ink on it. It's like, what? So, I went there to learn about lithography, and
clearly you did.
Really haven't quite grasped the fundamental.
Is this a Frenchman here helping?
That is a French guy, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, look, that's my sort of "Can I go home?" slide.
Right. Okay.
So basically, yeah. Look. So yeah, this is.
We'll go back to that.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. We can carry on there.
Well,
Do you want to be there.
So this is a really old picture that I made a long time ago, but I thought it was quite nice. I found it, and I thought that'd be quite a nice way to sort of try to
wrap it all up
to a close of some sort.
Yes. Well, I think you've done very well because
we've still got hours. I think.
No, we're kind of. It's been going.
No,
I would say
we're going okay.
Yeah, it's going well. I'm going to come to audience questions in a bit, and there's a roving mic. Although, frankly, I can't believe that there'll be any because we've been so thorough.
We have been thorough
and detailed.
I haven't used my stick much.
No. Shall we?
We should go. There we are. See, this is what everyone's been waiting for.
This is the
It's nice. It's nice to finish with.
Yeah. Any questions you might have, I think, have been answered with the final slide of the evening. What are you currently working on?
I'm right at the moment Glastonbury for 2024.
Right. How do they need that imminently? How does it work?
Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, sort of, in a way. Sorry. I don't really know how to answer that.
I've come down from Edinburgh for this.
Yeah.
I live in Edinburgh. But I think, so, yeah. It's kind of reached a natural conclusion in a way, hasn't it?
Well, in a way.
In a way, yeah. Did you have anything else that you wanted specifically to mention about printing?
No.
Right.
I don't think so. I might think of something afterwards, like maybe
Esprit d'escalier.
Falling asleep or in the morning first thing.
Waking up. No, the ink didn't even talk. Do you have a favourite ink?
Yeah.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, we have. We've rehearsed this one because I do, but it's not a printing ink. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot that it actually wasn't relevant. But what is it?
It's ink made from the shell of the walnut, and I've been doing a lot of drawing with on Japanese paper with a dip pen and ink made from walnut shells. See, look at that silence.
I think they're impressed. It's the silence of people who are fundamentally impressed with how the last hour of their lives was played out. Could we please have a round of applause for Stanley?
Oh no, please.
I've never seen you look more uncomfortable. That's what. Could we please have another round? No.
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 Actually, I think we need a huge round of applause for Dan for doing a
Yeah.
job.
It was a pleasure, honestly. And now I get to refill my wine glass, which is super as well. Well done. I think you did very well. Questions now, though.
Questions, yes. Sorry,
real questions from real.
We will get to Zoom in a minute, so don't feel like you're being neglected. I promise we will get to you.
You could feel like you're being neglected, if you like.
Hi, thank you. It's sort of just following on by what you were saying about walnut ink. Do you by chance make your own walnut ink?
No.
Okay.
I'm afraid not.
That was just a question.
That was good, though, because I liked it. It was pithy on both sides. Yeah. I thought that was a good one.
And I know people are going to be asking, where do you get this walnut ink from?
Or
is there a secret stash?
No, from Lawrence's in Hove.
Oh, great.
Everything's Hove based.
Yeah.
You might have noticed this evening.
No, but I've been buying stuff from them for ages. So it's really good. Lawrence's and Cornelisson's in London are really, really good. And there's another place, which I can't quite remember, which is more Clerkenwell way.
Oh, Cowling and Wilcox.
No.
No, the other yellow. It's
something, two names. It's a man's name. Something. Yay! Excellent. Yeah.
Knowledgeable audience.
Yeah. I know. We can't tell them anything.
Well, no. I mean, we haven't tried though, have we?
That's true. You will not learn anything. So that's good.
So
I'm glad we got that in early.
Who has a question?
If you raise your hand, the mic will come to you. They're stunned.
Sending over to John Gray. There you go, John.
Oh no, a professional person.
I have a printing question.
Oh.
Are you still making large liner cuts? Physically, it really hurts. How do you go about making such a big? I mean, it's physically quite painful. How do you do that over a long period of time?
I do kind of end up a little bit kind of Quasimodo-ish after a couple of weeks.
The lights are great for the shadows here. Could you do that again? Yeah.
So because you're doing this a lot, and it gets to be a kind of, quite painful in the shoulder, and there's sort of various little injuries you have. I end up having kind of no cuticles on my fingers because the little tiny bits of lino, just the repeated kind of pointing of them into your cuticles just removes them. So it is quite painful in a way, but I don't really care that much.
He had a full head of hair before he started lino cutting.
Yeah.
How long did that big lino cut take you to do?
It's taken 4 weeks so far, and I'm going back to Paris on Sunday to spend another 3 days on it, and that I am almost certain we'll finish it. And then we will print it on the biggest press I've ever seen. It's huge, and it will take 10 highly skilled printers to operate it.
French printers.
And we're going to make a film of it. I've got a friend of mine who's a filmmaker he's based in Paris, so we're going to get a couple of cameras in and film it. Ballet of print.
Something I didn't ask, which I'd meant to ask. So you make the artwork, especially when you're making it with the band or Tom or whoever's working. And I've always been fascinated by the fact that you work in the space. You're working or next to the space adjacent to where the music is happening, and the music affects what you do, and you're influenced by it. Could you kind of talk a little bit about that in terms of how that works if you're working on something and they're working on something? What you're kind of influencing each other, kind of?
Yeah, well, I think from a long time I've always had a feel that from when I was very young, like a child, when you're listening to music and you're drawing, it changes what you draw very, very much. We're massively affected by music and by sound. So if you it's like an exercise. If you just get a kind of a felt tip pen and a bit of paper and you play some kind of like tinkly piano music, and you draw a picture, and then you get another bit of paper and you put on death metal or something, it will be really different. And that's just you responding to the music, and that's a really simple thing to do. It's really easy, and that obviously there's levels of complexity that you can go to and subtlety that you can go to, but definitely music affects how you feel, and of course it affects how you kind of draw. So it's definitely good.
And is it sort of working near the, like you were working in Abbey Road recently with the Smile?
Yeah.
And they were kind of, I guess not composing, they were recording, but
bit
both.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Because you're in this kind of like very known, storied space.
I fucking loved it, to be honest. It was great. I was staying in this mad, like, 1970s hotel opposite Lord's cricket ground.
Yeah, they play cricket there.
Yeah, they do. And so in the morning, I go to work, like walking along a couple of streets, not very far, half a mile or something, and then I have to kind of brush tourists out of the way off my zebra crossing. I'm going to work! And because all the tourists are there, all taking photos, and they don't understand how the zebra crossings work. They've got no idea that the cars won't stop until you put a foot on it. And then they just stop. It's like magic. It's my favourite bit of road law, is that you just put a foot on a zebra crossing and they've got to stop.
Not in France, though, where you're spending quite a lot of time. So I would say be careful.
Yeah, right.
There.
I know.
So the question you may recall was, what's it like to work at Abbey Road with the Smile? The answer was zebra crossings, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So that's good. But it was good to work there?
Yeah,
in the space?
they've got a really good canteen. It's really nice.
Does anyone else have a question?
Some Zoom questions, actually, and I will come back to the room in a minute. I want to make sure that we treat the online and in-person community in equal measure. So we've got a lot of questions on Zoom, so I'll try to get to as many as possible. So Matt Kay has asked, and this might highlight some absence of knowledge or a brilliant bit of knowledge, depending how you look at it. If you could have worked for any Fleet Street publication in the past, which one would it have been and why?
Oh.
Tough question. So you can think about it and come back to it.
Quite good, yeah. Because they used to have, what was it, the one that had the Lubyanka? Was it the Daily Express?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
I mean, no, but I wouldn't have worked for them. But I mean, just to go to work in that building would be quite amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I quite like the, what's the one that if you went to work in that one that's like the Dundee Courier and I don't know what else, there's a whole load of them.
Yes.
There was like a tall building that had loads of local newspapers, all for Scotland, I think.
Yeah.
But they were printed here. Amazing.
We could go back further and work with Caxton and Wink into Word if that was your thing as well, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Just showing off my knowledge, that's all I can think.
Very good. Wink into Word.
It's a great name, right?
But probably the Telegraph.
No.
Would have thought, yeah, because that's kind of your politics, isn't it? So
yeah. Very right wing.
he's very right wing.
Very.
He pushes people out of the way on the zebra crossing near Abbey Road.
Get out of my
Hits
way.
them with that stick. That stick is not just for tonight.
Yes.
We've got so many questions on here. I'm going to do a couple more, then come back to the room. So how do you keep motivated whilst doing creative projects?
I don't really know how to answer that.
You don't have to, that's fine.
I just, I don't know any other way of being, I don't think.
Okay, and this is a question from Giselle. So do you have any advice for a new art student coming into the world of visual art and things?
Yeah, well, this is a difficult one because if it was me, if I was talking to me and I was the person, I would say, well, I'd do a course in plumbing or something like that. Do something, learn how to do something really, really useful because it would be great to have that. I wish I'd sort of had that because I wanted to be a tree surgeon. That was my kind of thing that I wanted to do in my life. And it was due to sort of, unfortunately, things happened and I didn't get the job. So I ended up doing art by mistake. So I kind of think that you don't rely on art because it's really, really difficult. And I've been doing it for ages. I don't understand how the fuck it works. So I've no advice of any use for anyone at all.
I think that's okay. We all find our own way, don't we? Sorry, there
Very politely put.
I'm back next week actually interviewing a tree surgeon on this stage.
I know. Well, I know.
Yeah.
Would have been
There are
good.
so many questions coming in on Zoom. I'm trying to get through, trying to catch up with them. There's a really good one from Fern who says, I would love to know, do you have any advice on when an art piece is finished, like knowing when to stop?
No, I don't. But you just know. It's that I don't know that it's something you can't quantify. When you're working on something with a liner cut, basically when you get to the edge, it's finished.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But with paintings, I've no idea. It's you just know.
Yeah.
And I really like working with other people. I work with other people a lot, and it's very useful to have someone else who says, "Stop! No, no!" and vice versa. You know, because I work with Tom a lot, and we're both, neither of us have any idea, but the other person will.
Because you do collaborate a lot.
Yeah.
With printers as well. I know that. What's Richard's name? Sophomore Tallboy.
Whose name?
You know, he's a technician, you're an artist. That's the symbiotic relationship, isn't it? You know, he's able to kind of like help you print.
Yeah, I mean, he knows how to do things, and I don't.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
In subs.
I don't know how to do very much, to be honest.
But you have the ideas, I suppose.
Some good ones, mostly bad ones.
Okay, and our last question from Zoom for the moment. There's lots of questions about why you chose to work in lino and that kind of printing things. And so that's the first bit. And then second, are there any other mediums you're desperate to explore?
I started working in lino because I wanted to do woodcut printing, but I injured myself so much with the knives and the chisels. It was a very sort of bloody episode. So I kind of started using lino because it was a lot easier, a lot more forgiving, but the results were very similar. So that's that one. And is there anything I would really like to try? I'm actually really interested in the kind of what you can do with AI, with what you can do with it, because it would save me a lot of trouble in some way. Because like, you know, when you're trying to make a picture and you're like, what does that look like? And loads of things I don't know what it looks like, and I could, in theory, get an AI program to tell me what it looks like. But so far, I've not had much luck with that because everything looks a little bit like a kind of prog rock answer.
Looks like yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, in your case.
In fact, no.
Probably,
yeah.
But you did the Dr. David Kelly thing in Cherry Boxwood or whatever that was.
Cherrywood. Yeah.
That was I think that's the only woodcut you've done.
Yeah, I did do another one, but it was quite a savage thing. I was listening to the news reports coming in when there'd been that bombing on the 7th of July or June.
In London.
Yeah. And I did a nasty, sort of savage liner cut. But and it was the same. But yeah, the David Kelly one, I quite liked that one because it looked old, didn't it? It looked like it was.
Yeah, it was apt because it was quite immediate, I think. And I think a lot of people had immediate feelings. Can we go back to the room? Are we going back to the room?
Yeah, that's why I stood up. In the room, okay, first person
Sorry.
I saw, I'll come to you first.
Hi, thanks so much for tonight. I love your work because I think it's unlike anything anybody else.
Oh, thank you.
And tonight's talk has been unlike any other I've seen here before.
So sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I've got a couple of two brief questions, if I may.
Yeah, for sure.
Firstly, the artwork you said was your most popular of the colourful Holloway, but you said you didn't like it. So could you explain why you didn't like it yourself? Because I quite liked it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're not alone. A lot of people seem to like it, but it's quite a big painting. It's like 1.5 meters square, and I was painting it for ages. You know, it's a lot of twigs, and I was really sort of bored of it, and I just thought, what am I doing? And with a lot of paintings, painting is yellow card, not print, but a lot of painting is. It doesn't really work until the end, until the very last minute. And with that picture, I was just doing it and doing it and doing it, and kind of hating it and hating myself and feeling really bad about everything. And then I did some sort of dead trees at the end, and then I realised what I painted. that it wasn't the sun, it was a nuclear detonation, and then I liked it, but I still didn't like it as much as some of the others that I was doing in that series of paintings. But yeah, that was the one I did a show, and it kind of sold immediately. So yeah, and it's been very popular.
And secondly, you said that you were trying to avoid a sort of recognisable style across the different album covers, and you said maybe, do you think you managed to achieve that? Because just to sort of contradict you again, I can sort of see a thread. I can see when it's the start.
I know. Yeah. I think with the first one, like, so the first record album I did was the Bends, which was the resuscitation dummy, and it was just that was a photograph of a video that was played on the TVs, because that's what I used to do, is film things, play them on the TV, and then photograph the TV screen, and then develop the photo, and then scan the photo, and then use that. That's a long time ago. So, and then I did OK Computer, very, very different, and then Kid A, very, very different, because I didn't want to be the same person. So I think I even called myself different things on occasion, but I just didn't want to be. I think I was just kind of shy of being me, or I don't know. But then when I worked on this, one of the books that is for sale outside, but this Thames and Hudson one I did, which is, and then I was sort of forced by doing that to look at everything, and I realised there is a thread, and it's basically, it's me, and you're absolutely right. I can't really conceal it.
It's a bit late now, isn't it?
A bit late now. I'm doing things like this, so you know.
But I remember we had a chat. In fact, it might even be in the Beechwood book. You said in another world, not a tree surgeon, but probably a commercial artist, painting narrowboats, painting pub signs, and you would have found that delightful.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because it's a job.
Yeah.
Someone comes to you with a problem, you solve it graphically.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
Well,
you're a jobbing artist who's able to use your skills for good.
Yeah.
It's practical.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of, I loved doing that when I was like a long time ago, when I was like 18, I was interrailing. I went to Greece, so I didn't have any money, but I could draw pictures of bars and then give them to the bar owner, and the bar owner would be really pleased. Basically give me as much beer as I wanted.
They must have been really good pictures.
It was, well, no, I don't think they were that good.
Oh, really?
No, it was fine.
To be fair, at the time, that's probably the Greek economy was, I could see that would be more...
It was fine, it was drachmas back in the day.
Drachmas back in the day.
It was before the bad things.
Have you seen the internet these days? Does anyone else have a pic? Yes?
Yes, I'm going to go.
Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
I'll stop trying to micromanage the hell out of this event. I'm sorry.
You've talked in the past about finding Radiohead's music very visual, and that one of the reasons behind that is that you don't have any kind of formal or technical music education.
No.
Do you think that being able to perceive music, or their music specifically, kind of abstractly rather than technically, helps the relationship between the art and the music? And if you did have a formal technical music knowledge, would it change or even kind of hinder the ability to work between the two mediums?
I think for the last part of what you were saying, I don't think so. I don't think I would. I don't think I will ever have any understanding of music. I don't understand it at all. I just hear it. I don't know anything about how to make it. Or I find it hard to, when listening to music, to know what instrument's done what. I'm really sort of painfully ignorant, and apparently tone deaf as well. Tone deaf and stupid when it comes to music. And this is according to some well-regarded musicians. So,
Do you want to talk about Tom? Is Tom bullying you?
Others, as not all of them. They all.
Sorry.
They're all terrible.
Meanies.
What do you know?
I don't know anything.
No. That's.
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. I didn't. No one's told me anything.
No. It's not quite that bad.
Okay.
But But I definitely don't know anything about music, but I quite like not knowing anything about music technically, because I think I kind of I've realised that, and I have tried to learn about music, but it's rubbish. It's like me trying to learn to drive. It's just a joke, you know. It's not going to happen. Mathematics, driving, music, nah, come on. So I can't free to look at it in a different way, to hear it and to try to see it as well, because I really do see it. Music, it makes pictures in my head. So
were you
it's
worried
nice.
about the iTunes visualizer?
What's that?
You know, when there was, like, on iTunes or on Spotify, you can hit visualizer. It does a sort of like wavy picture when a song comes up, and it's all different colours. Were you worried that might put you out of a job? No, clearly not.
I didn't know about it. So
No, it's a rubbish thing. It was just meant to be.
Okay.
It was meant to land.
Is it still thing?
It was just meant to land in a humorous way with the room, and it's not done that either. So, you know, it's not my finest hour. And it's followed the most cogent, interesting question that's been asked all night.
It was quite.
He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, he could do you next week.
Get another one.
Who were you pointing at when I interrupted?
There was
someone else.
gentleman in a hat.
Oh yes, okay, I'll come
in
down.
the grey. This will be a good question too, I bet you.
Thank you very much. So my question is more about your process. Sketching on a blank piece of paper definitely has to be different to committing something to print or lino. Is it more liberating to have that commitment to putting something to print, or is it more restrictive? Does it stop you doing what you would usually explore?
Printing question.
Yeah, no, I kind of quite like how the immediacy of print, how you can make a liner cut picture or scratching into copper plate for etching. I sort of I don't have a problem. I'm not really very good at sketching. My sketchbooks are sort of full of more ideas and sort of scraps of newspapers or stickers or things that I found, or ideas, or really, really bad drawings of an idea. Often they're really, really bad. But when it comes to print, it's quite, I'm quite immediate. I don't really draw with like, so that the liner cuts, I don't draw what's going to be on them first. I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of I just follow the chisel basically, and the chisel will go where it wants to go, and it will draw what it wants to draw, and I'm kind of just, you know,
I didn't ask
following it.
Sorry, I didn't ask you, but what is that going to be? What's the plan?
Well, it's kind of connected with all the smile stuff that I've been doing, with the Crowflies paintings, and yeah, it's an enormous ocean. It's kind of the Mediterranean with a load of volcanoes going off, and I think it's got Britain. I've put a sort of version of the islands of Britain in the Mediterranean, and I think I think I might. There might be a little bit of politics in there, but it'll be concealed in a mess of linoleum.
To Ben out and say a little bit of politics.
A little bit of politics.
A little bit of politics. Okay.
So, Dan, do you want to pick one more person for one last question?
Okay.
Has anyone got one?
Well, they're not going to put their hands up now. Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay, I'll
There's
bring
a
the mic
masochist in
round.
the corner. Gentleman in the red jumper.
Thank you. Did you, when you were in the south of France, did you go to that amazing quarry nearby?
Le Beau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it incredible?
We cycled up there, and it was great. So we were staying in this place called La Fabrique, which just means the works or something. And next to this place called I can't remember, a little town where it was brilliant because it's where Van Gogh went when he was recovering from cutting his ear off.
Because there were a couple of like printing press places in that little village.
Are there?
Do you remember we went in that little workshop? Sorry.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know. Because we rode our bikes up that huge mountain.
Yeah.
Was there? And then, yeah, it was.
Did that make you? Did that ever make you feel like you wanted to try working like in sculpture?
No.
No.
It's like sculpture is like it's basically like maths and driving and it's like it's not. And photography, and I'm the worst photographer. So yeah, I've got know your limits. That's what.
Quarry chat, where this was all heading. Could we not have a loud round of applause, but could we have the most passive-aggressively quiet round of applause? Like, just touch your hands together really, really lightly and say thank you. Final time.
Thank you.
Quieter than that. Yeah, is this what you wanted then?
It'd be better if there was just like nothing and emptiness.
Well, we can talk about that in the pub later. Thank you, everyone. We have books for sale afterwards. Pages of Happening have very kindly come down to do that. It's been genuinely fun, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I tried to.
You've not tried. There were doors right there, and he could have left at any time, and he didn't. And I think that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Smriti, and everybody who's.
It's a pleasure.
Who's made this happen? Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
As well, because you didn't have to.
No.
Some of them did. I told them to come.
I think I was just going to say a huge thank you to the Zoom people who I think have probably got away with the quietest clap of all in the form of emojis.
Thank you, Zoom.
I know they'll be flooding in on the chat as I'm chatting and you've been chatting. Huge thank you again for coming. Dan, thank you again to you. You've been a fantastic host, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
And have a brilliant evening. We're open till 9. Go and have a drink, go buy a book, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Excellent.